What is up, Keller Williams agents? It is me, Sam Jackson, the Director of Innovation Technology for the Georgia Legacy Group and MAPS Coach. And today I'm so excited to share with you the 2024 goal setting video for Command. And what I love about Command, as I'm a little bit biased as the technology guy, is that I have the opportunity to explore several different CRMs and databases that exist out there inside of our ecosystem. And they all do the same thing. They may do the same thing. Their schematics may have a different color besides the red and the black that looks like KW. But more or less, when you break down Command to the other platforms, they have the same features and benefits. But one of the things that's very different about the Keller Williams platform compared to other brokerages is this book right here. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, or the MREA. This is the book that the models and systems that we have at Keller Williams separates us from the rest of the competition. And this is one of the things that we truly have inside of Command that those other technology competitors or markets or tools that you may kind of look at them as do not have. And I love to share this inside of Command, specifically inside of goal setting, because this has MREA models and systems all over it. Specifically, what I'm talking about is the economic model. The very first model inside of MREA is essentially goal setting inside of Command. So I want to show you that. But before I jump into, goal setting, I think it's really important that we actually flip to page 21 of MREA. This actually kicks off the preface. And I want to share this story with you before we get into the mindset of really going into our plans for the next year. Now that we know that if you've read the MREA, there is a path of becoming a millionaire. The first path, or the first thing that we need to do, is think a million. Once we think a million, we earn a million. After we earn a million, we net a million, meaning that we actually put that in our pockets. And then the fourth path, which is we actually receive a million. We step out of the business, our business operates, and yet we still make $1 million off our business. And then when and if MREA ever gets rewritten, the fifth path would be to give $1 million. That's really thinking big. But today, we're starting and we're looking at how do I first think about earning $1 million? So I'm going to go through goal setting from that perspective today, but I want you to kind of think a little bit bigger as we go in today's exercise. And I'm going to pick up with a story that Gary talks about on page 21 of MREA, which starts off by talking about the story of hunting wolves and aiming high. I'm going to read this directly from the book. It says, several years ago, my son John and I were driving and listening to a book on tape. In the story, a shepherd's son has come of age and goes out to spend his first summer alone, tending the sheep in the hills above the village. One night, he awakens to the sound of a wolf howling nearby. The night is black and he is seized by fear. But he dutifully grabs his rifle and races out into the darkness to protect his livestock. Across the way, he sees a wolf at the throat of one of the sheep. As he puts his rifle to his shoulder and takes aim, he remembers the advice of his father. His father said, "At night, it is very difficult to judge the distance to your target, and more than likely, you'll underestimate the distance and miss low. To have a better chance of hitting the target, aim high." The shepherd's son adjusts his aim, raising the sights ever so slightly, and hits the mark. Now, the MREA was published in 2004. When I hear that story today, I think a lot about the market as we head into 20 years later, into 2024, with a lot of darkness and a lot of unknown as we go into the upcoming season. We know that with mortgage rates and inventory and just turmoil across the globe, 2024 is going to be a year that we've never seen before in real estate, or at least not in a very long time. So I challenge you, as we go into this darkness, as we go into the night that may be the next year, I really want you to aim high, because you're more likely to underestimate your target and hit low if you don't. So let's go into goal setting. Let's aim high, let's think big, and let's act bold through this. So I'm going to minimize myself, get myself in the corner here, and I'm going to walk you through how to do this. So first things first, I'm inside of Command. And if you aren't familiar, to get to the screen that I'm on, we had to click on Reports over here on the left. So I'm inside the Reports feature, which is the one that looks like a little bar graph over here on the left-hand side. We're going to first click on reports, and then I'm going to click on goals up here at the very top. So not a trick question, but we're going to click on goals. That's the button we're going to go to. And then we're going to click on goal setting over here in the top right. This is the place where we're going to set our goals for the next year. So hopefully I haven't lost you yet. This screen here is just kind of an expectation of how to use this guide, but the cool thing is I'm going to be your guide for this guide. I'm going to walk you through this really easy feature inside of Command. So we're going to click Get Started. So this is it. You're going to see that we have a little bit of a workspace over here on the left-hand side. We're going to have some data here in the middle, and then we're going to have a breakdown of our GCI on the right. I'm going to work over here in the left-hand space, and I'm going to walk along with you. So the first thing that we need to do, just in case yours is defaulted to 2023, we just want to make sure that we select 2024. And there's a drop-down menu here that will let you select the year. So I'm set for 2024. And then we're going to create our profit goal for the year of 2024. So when we create our profit goal, I first want to ask the definition, what is profit? I don't want to confuse this with GCI or net commission or splits or caps or all of these things that tend to get kind of mixed up when we start talking about finances. I really want to be clear that profit means this is the money that we anticipate going into your pocket after everything else is kind of paid in full. So this would include your expenses, your cost of sales, anything that's going to come out of the cost of your business or the investment in your business, the things that are going to cost you money to run a business. We're talking after all of that is paid to everywhere it should be due. This is money in your pocket at the end of the year. So whether you're looking to make $10,000 or $1 million or thinking even bigger than that, there's no judgment around it. Go ahead and put your goal inside of the profit goal for you. And just a reminder, this is after taxes and everything else. This is the money that you want to clear after everything. And just to get you thinking like a millionaire, because that's the first path, I'm going to go ahead and put $1 million inside of this profit goal for me. No judgment. Put whatever number you want here, okay? You are in charge of your goal. The next thing I'm going to put in would be my expenses and my cost of sales. Now, if there's a place that you're going to get hung up, it would be here. I know a lot of folks don't really have clarity, or it hasn't been explained on what the difference is between expense of cost or sale. I'm going to do my best to break that down for you today. And I like to start by actually moving over to cost of sale. And I like to really break down that term. It's a cost of sale, a cost when there is a sale. There is only a cost when there is a sale. So an example of that would be your commission split. This would be the royalty that you pay to Keller Williams International. This would be the split you pay with the Market Center. This would be a referral fee that you would pay to an agent outside of your territory who's giving you a lead. This would be the cost of sale that you may pay to a lead aggregate if you're paying for leads with one of those companies. But this is something that only gets paid when you have a sale. So for example, I don't get charged by Keller Williams for my royalty or my cap unless I have a sale, right? The Market Center's not charging me $15,000. I pay that when I have a sale. Same thing with that agent in maybe Boise, Idaho. I'm not paying some agent in Boise, Idaho unless there is a referral, right? And I actually close that referral. Do I pay that fee? So your cost of sales are a little bit easier to understand. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and put the total that I expect for the entire year. Now, this could be a little bit difficult to gauge. This is why I definitely encourage you to go to additional classes like Business Planning Clinic or Business by the Book or anything to do with like profit and budgets that you see either through KW University or MAPS or in your local Market Center. Pour into this stuff because you're going to get better details here. But the cost of sales that I can anticipate would be, I'm in a Market Center with a $15,000 cap. There is a $3,000 royalty to Keller Williams. So just with those two things alone, I'm at $18,000. Okay. If I'm going to make $1 million in profit, I could probably guess that I'm receiving some referrals from outside of my territory. And I, again, just like that farmer, I want to probably aim higher here, right? I'd rather anticipate that I'm actually paying out more than not. So I'm going to be a little bit aggressive with this approach. And let's say that I'm going to pay $20,000 out in referrals if I'm going to make $1 million in real estate, okay? So I'm going to add another $20,000 here. So that would take me up to, let's say, $38,000. Now, what else would I be paying for? Maybe I'm paying for leads that are, charged a success fee if I'm a millionaire real estate business, or perhaps I'm in an MLS that has some fees every time I close. So I'm just going to go ahead and round this off, and I'm going to be very generous with my rounding up. I'm going to say I'm going to pay roughly $50,000 in costs of sale. Okay, not bad. Now, everything else, that's probably an expense, right? So I know that one of the things that comes up most commonly would be, well, Sam, you didn't say anything about signage or marketing, or you didn't say anything about specifically the photography for my listings. And there's a reason for that. You can take a listing and have all of those expenses, and your listing may fail in all actuality. So therefore, is it possible that those things are an expense that you pay out of pocket and not a cost of sale? I can be on the hook for my photography, whether that listing closes or not. So oftentimes these things that we think that are attached to a transaction aren't exactly that clear, and they belong in the expense category. So anything that has a monthly bill attached to it that you pay it, whether you have a closing or not, goes in this column. Any of your marketing that you're doing, this includes closing gifts. I could pre-buy all of my closing gifts for the year. I may have a surplus of them if I don't hit my goals, and yet I'm still on the hook for that bill. So all of those things that we sometimes think are attached to a cost of sale, question, do I pay it regardless of the sale or not? Now, here's the fun thing. Expenses can, or this particular category of expenses can wildly range depending on the type of lead generation that you have built surrounding your business. If I'm a sphere-based personal relationship person in which I'm farming and building my neighborhood, or a geographic farm, I'm not spending a lot of money marketing and more of my time prospecting, I'm going to have relatively low expenses in comparison to my cost of sales and my actual profit margin. If I'm paying for every shiny object that I see that hits my inbox as a real estate agent, or if I'm chasing after these success fees that are maybe coming from these lead aggregates like the one that rhymes with pillow, or other lead services you may be paying for, my expenses could be really, really high. But here's one thing I do know for certain. If I'm going to become a millionaire real estate agent, I know that one of those expenses I'm going to be paying for would be my monthly bill to the market center. It would be my cell phone bill, my gas that I'm paying inside my vehicle. It would be all the marketing that I'm paying for my listings. It would also be any presentations I'm using for my buyers, that collateral. If I'm going to be a millionaire real estate agent and really making that much money, I can guarantee you there's going to be salaries that I'm paying for. And I'm on the hook for those salaries for my admin, whether me and my team have a deal or not that month. So all of those things combined are going to go inside of expenses here. And what we strive for inside of Keller Williams in this MREA model is we want to run a 30-30-40 model, meaning that I'm operating at 30% expenses, 30% cost of sale, and a 40% profit margin. So I can just go by best practices and say, okay, my expenses at that point would probably be, let's say in the ballpark of, I'm going to have $100,000 in expenses. And some of you may have a shock there, and that's okay. I can tell you that if you're going to be a millionaire real estate agent, that's probably still low. And here's how I know that. Look over here on the right-hand side. Now that I have my numbers over on the left, this tells me that my profit margin is at 86 or 87%. My cost of sales are only 4%. My operating expenses are only 8.7. I'm actually outperforming that 30-30-40 model. So I may want to go in here and again, just kind of play the best or worst case scenario and increase to, well, what if my expenses were $200,000 because I'm really hiring top talent? I'm still outperforming that 30-30-40 model. So to make big money, sometimes with you invest big money, I would anticipate sitting down with your CPA and getting really serious about this, and then also digging in deeper to know your specific numbers here for expenses versus cost of sales through an avenue like a business planning clinic. But enough on that. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to dig into that. But let's keep it moving here. The next thing I need to do is determine my business makeup. And the reason for this is that we do know that listings actually convert better than buyers. And in any given market that may actually flip, But right now, I know that listings actually convert at a better rate than any buyers would right now. So we want to calculate for that. The cool thing is, once again, this is all based on the MREA. We're going off of that model. And if you don't know your numbers, your exact numbers, go ahead and use 50-50. Again, that's also kind of playing in line. We're going to plan for the worst case scenario in the situation. And then from there, I'm going to put my average commission per unit. And this is going to fluctuate for you as the agent. You're going to have an average sales price and an average commission that kind of correlates with that. If you don't know your numbers, feel free to use your market center's number. You can look this up inside your market center multi-year trends, or just have a conversation with your team leader. They can give you this number. I like little even numbers, so I'm going to put 15,000 here for my offices. All right. Once I have that done, all the heavy lifting is done. We are through goal setting, which is really cool. This is where Command is going to do the rest of the work for you. And I'm going to kind of click quickly through the rest of this, but I promise to explain kind of what happens here. So I'm going to hit continue. And then on this next screen, what you have is essentially your sales funnel. And this may look a little goofy if you've never seen anything like this before, but let me explain this kind of very quickly because there's not a lot of time you should be worth spending on this right now. What we're looking at is the conversion rates of your listings, your buyers, and we're kind of working from this idea of leads convert at a rate of 5% to become a contact. So that's one-way conversations to two-way conversations at 5%. And then we're converting at a 75% moving forward. So what this means is that when we set an appointment, 25% are going to fall off. So we're only converting that 75% of our appointments set are actually going to be held. 75% of our appointments held are going to turn into written agreements. 75% of those written agreements are going to turn into an under contract or pending. And then ultimately, not everything closes even when we go under contract. So 75% of those under contract and pending will actually turn into a closing. Now, these are based off of industry averages that we have inside of real estate. If you know your numbers, please feel free to go in here. But majority of agents don't know this numbers. This is something that's definitely worth tracking. But if you don't know your numbers, feel free to leave 75 here. You just have to hit this button that says set individually, and you can change that yourself. But for the sake of today, I'm just going to move forward with averages. Okay? And then I'm going to hit continue at the bottom right. This is a recap and a review. This is a way for me to kind of finalize this. I'm not spending time here, but let me go ahead and hit set goals at the bottom right again. Now, this takes us all the way back into goals where we were inside of Command. And I'm going to take it to 2024 because we're still in 2023. So to do that, I'm going to change 2023 to 2024. And then I'm just going to scroll on down. What I want you to focus on as I move my way over to the other side are these two little graphics down here in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. I'm going to look at this middle one first. What this tells me that if I want to be an MREA, a millionaire real estate agent, because we were talking about actually netting or profiting $1 million, what this tells me is that ultimately through my goal setting, I need to close 84 units. Okay? So to become a millionaire real estate agent, I need to close 84 units. Which, how many units do I need to close a month? I can look at that and say, okay, well, what is 84 divided by 12? 84 divided by 12. That means I need to close exactly 7 transactions a month to be an MREA. Okay. All right. That's possible. And I know it is because we have several agents inside of our organization. Meaning our market center, our Georgia Legacy Group, as well as our region and KW who have done this. So that's possible. Okay. But to get to 84 closed units, what the numbers tell me here is that I need to go under contract 112 times. Well, that's not really reassuring, but stick with me here. To go under contract 112 times, that means I need to write 148 agreements. Okay. I'm starting to panic. That seems like a big number. Okay, let's go through this. In order to write 148 agreements, that means I need to go on 198 appointments. Ooh, that's almost 4 a week. Okay. That means I need to set over 264 appointments a year. Okay. Wait a minute. There's 365 days a year. And yet, if I take almost 100 days off and I get in the mindset and I build a system around what is it that I need to do to lead generate to get an appointment a day, I can be a millionaire? That starts to make sense. But let me make this a little bit more clear. To become a millionaire real estate agent, I need to have a database of 5,268 people. Now, that may seem like we're climbing a mountain, and it may be like climbing a mountain. But the cool thing is that once we've climbed that mountain, we get to say that we've climbed that mountain. No one gets to take that away from us. And the same thing works with your database. Once I hit a database of 5,200 people, or 5,268 in the situation, that means that my database will start to automatically or predictively return $1 million every year, as long as my conversion rates follow that. So I want you to think of it this way, is you may see these numbers and go, oh crap, that's a lot. But we're playing the infinite game, right? I want to aim my sights high and say, okay, I can build a database to get me there. I want to build a database to get me to 5,200 people, because I know when I do that, I can be a millionaire real estate agent. It may not happen this year. It may take you 2 years. It may take you 5 years to do that. But just know it's that focus, right? It's aiming down the sights and knowing that that's the target, that if I hit that, I can predictively get $1 million every single year from my business by setting up those systems, focusing the activities, and doing those things daily. Committing to going on one appointment a day will make me a millionaire. I hope that you found value in this. I hope you feel motivated. I hope that you take a shot in the dark and aim high with this. Thank you for your time. I'm Sam Jackson, and as always, stay in command. See ya.